Here's something not everybody's going to love. This life isn't about you. It's not all about you. In fact, it's not about you at all. Look around at nature. Is nature serving itself? Is the orange tree outside self-serving when it gives an abundance of fruit? No. Every part of nature is serving another part of nature. The tree is giving shade and housing and food. Everything in nature is serving each other. And so when we turn our focus and we only focus on ourselves, that is not in service to humanity. That's not in service to our growth, and it's not in service to the larger truth of love. Now, I don't ever tell people what to believe. It's not what I'm here to do. I know what I believe, and I've had an incredible faith journey that I will share with you in another video if you'd like, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you and encourage you, that is, to connect with what it is you do believe. Connect with your faith. Don't just give it lip service. Actually connect with it and make that your truth and align your actions, your words, your thoughts to that truth. When we are focused on ourselves, we become self-serving, and that can become a form of a god or a religion. But the message this world gives you, the message that you see through your screen, that you see on your phone, that you hear in the music, that you see on billboards, the messaging you hear over and over and over again is about you, your ego, how you present, what your style is, what car you drive, the pride that you carry, your image, how you stand out, how you feel inside. That's the message that the world wants to give you. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you. But that will never, ever, ever satisfy. That's like chasing the wind. You are never going to come in alignment with the truth of love. Whether you practice a religion or just look at quantum physics, there is a solid truth that we need to be moving ourselves in alignment with if we are going to be living our best lives and if we are going to be affecting the people around us in a good and positive way. So taking our eyes off of ourselves, it's about me, and tuning it into connecting with faith. And one of my very favorite analogies, in fact, it's an analogy that I use all the time, is that we are like individual pieces of a stained glass window. We're each unique. We each are our own hue. Some of us have bubbles of air in it. Some of us are more flat. Some are more wavy. Each is shaped differently. And when we lean into that, when we connect with the truth of our own beautiful worth, when we connect with other people, when we connect with faith, and when we connect with the earth of which we're made, that is what makes us shine. So when we're all worried about our ego and how we look and what car we drive or what label we're wearing or handbag we carry, when we start to focus on those things, it actually causes us not to shine. It creates a layer of muck on the stained glass window of our lives, of our personhood, through which we want light to shine. We don't want it to be mucky and grimy. We want to shine bright. But when we are focused on judging other people or comparing ourselves to other people, it's like muck and grime of its own sort. The dust of comparison or the muck of envy or of jealousy or of pride, the grime of greediness, judgment, and serving yourself. So we can clean off the grime of self-doubt and comparison and judgment when we lean in on faith and when we recognize that we are gloriously made, we're incredible beings, and we don't need to try and change ourselves. And when we separate from this truth, that's when we add in inflammation of a spiritual sense. Russell Brand recently has had an interview with a woman named Laura, and honestly, I don't know her last name. I've been looking for it, but the series that they're talking about is how technology separates us from God.
overwhelmed with self-centeredness. It's such an overwhelming and demanding religion, and its cathedral is everywhere because you carry it in your pocket. So it's very difficult to break away from that, and it starts to sound was like what the mastery of the setting of satanic conditions is to even speaking spiritually sounds like a kind of insanity. It sounds.
Okay, Russell Brand will go on to read from the beginning of John in the New Testament of the Bible. Before we take a look at that verse, consider quantum physics. Consider that everything is electricity. Everything carries a vibration, including our bodies, including this microphone, the table. It's just a more condensed energy. So all of our words, all of our thoughts, those also have a vibration. They all vibrate at a specific frequency. So a heavier frequency would be a heavier emotion. Sadness, guilt, jealousy goes lower and lower and lower. Okay, higher vibratory emotions and words are those of love, of hope, of appreciation, of giving, of gratitude. Those are going to be higher vibrational. Now, that is quantum physics. Now, consider that the Old Testament is also the root of the Torah and of the Quran. And I've read both, some of both, but I'm definitely not an expert. So feel free to pitch in on this conversation. That's what I'd really love. In any case, consider that in the beginning, according to these books, God spoke the world into being. And consider that we are created, according to these books, in God's image. So the words that we speak out they create our reality. God spoke the world into being, and we are created in God's image. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read what Russell Brand read to everybody, and that is from John, from the very top of John in the New Testament. And it says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it." So I wanted to share that with you, and Russell Brand also shared it. And when I read that before recording this, I just flipped to another chapter. This is my old student Bible right here. It's totally falling apart, and I just flipped to a random page, which ends up being Romans 13. And there's only one verse in here that's underlined, and that is, "Do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Okay, again, we're talking words, we're talking thoughts, we're talking what we're putting out in a vibrational sense if you're looking at it from a quantum physics point of view. So like I've said, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to believe. I am asking you to lean in on your faith. Lean in on your faith, because we know enough that the tenets of these major religions, whether it's a religion or spirituality or quantum physics, we know that these are the major tenets that are the pillars that create the faith. And that is what I'm asking you to lean into. So whether looked at through the lens of quantum physics or through a spiritual lens, when we align ourselves with truth, that is when we are going to bring life, and we are going to heal, and we are going to thrive. And per the stained glass metaphor, that's when the light is going to shine through us, as opposed to being focused on ourselves. We focus on aligning ourselves with truth, as opposed to swinging ourselves out here, being worried about what label we're going to wear, or judging other people, or being concerned that our image is everything, as opposed to our character and our alignment with this truth. Let's take another look at this conversation. In this next segment, Laura is talking both about a societal political reality as well as a spiritual truth. And listen to what she has to say, because this is vital. It's a major part of the core of what I'm trying to convey.
Because our job is to search for the whole truth, right? Because it's the whole truth is obviously a big thing, but at its core, it's very simple. They want to complicate it. They want to tell you can never possibly understand it. You know, you're not educated enough. You're too stupid. You're not sophisticated enough, whatever. It doesn't matter what they say. The fact is that the truth can often be very big, but what helps us is that there's only one truth. And usually it's very simple. So it might be big, but it's very, very simple. So when you come back to, what you're talking about, what happens to us is we get channeled into certain categories. So 1 minute the 50s has to be the be all and end all of the world. The next minute the 50s has to be a big lie. But the truth is, this is what Shakespeare and Thomas Hardy and all of these kind of writers, this is what they created. Really, Shakespeare created it, right? Was that hero in, or the villain in literature that was not simple, but they were complex. And what was that revealing? A simple truth.
Anything that causes separation, whether it be in our one cell thick gut lining, or separation from the earth, or separation from each other, all of those things, the separation causes sickness. So as you know, my big theme is connection. In connection, we thrive. We must have connection in our one cell thick gut lining. We must be connecting to the earth, which actually brings healing and reduces inflammation. We must be connecting with each other. Loneliness is an epidemic in our country right now, and it causes, on a very primal level, a lot of stress, which circles back to our gut, because that stress will cause in the gut lining that allows toxins and particles and of undigested food and heavy metals and pathogens into our bloodstream, which causes the systemic inflammation. So it's a big circle. It's all cyclical. But if we can tune into the integrity of what is actual and what is in alignment with truth of the truth of creation, the truth of source, the truth of the universe, the truth of the integrity of our cells, or the integrity of our gut lining. Maybe it's on a spiritual level. Maybe it's on a mental level. Maybe it's just in your gut. But we want to swing back into alignment. The further we're swung out here, the more pain we're going to feel. This is like the degree of muck and grime that is built up on our glass, the glass that is us, the stained glass that is us. But we live in such a time that we are being inundated constantly with things that try and swing us out of this alignment. We live in a time that we're constantly being separated from this truth on a physical, mental, and spiritual level. So check out what Laura has to say on this with Russell Brand.
World that is omnipotent is God itself. But once you have technology that is around you all the time, that's recording and monitoring everything you say, that's feeding that knowledge into databases where people prey upon it, right, and use it to exploit. All of this is designed to do what? To separate us from our creator. And in fact, you talked about principles beyond reality, right? Because we as human beings, this is so much bigger than us. And yet, at the same time, while it is bigger than us, this is how you know when things come from God. Because in that very same moment, it is completely and utterly grounded in the earth that we stand upon. And it is absolutely within our reach to know what reality is. You know how and you know why? So the how is, we know reality because it sits in the pit of your stomach, because you are given a God-given instinct that guides you. That's how we know what is good and what is evil, what is right and what is wrong. That I can go into a hotel in New York City and I can sit there and talk to the overnight cleaner who may have come from across the world, from some unsophisticated village in some unsophisticated third world country, and they can tell me the difference between right and wrong. But I can go and sit with the most educated people in the United States of America who've graduated with how many degrees from the best universities, and they can spin themselves into an alternative reality that is completely and utterly separated from from what is true and what is honest, and they justify it a million ways, and they look down on everybody else. Why? Because what have they become? They have become separated from God. And by the way, the reverse can apply. You know, this is not something that is just unique to one group in society.
So how's that for truth? Absolutely. I love that she's speaking about this separation from the truth of God. It's the separation from faith. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to believe in. And in fact, when I make a video about my journey, you'll learn that I really, really make a big deal of the difference between faith and religion. So faith and religion are not the same thing in my book, and please tune in when I do talk about that. But what's important is that we are brought into alignment and we lean into the faith that we have, regardless of what that is. And how much do I love that she brought in our gut? Because when we have good integrity in our gut health, when we're not full of inflammation from having a leaky gut and having this gap, this separation in our gut lining that allows the toxins in. I love that she brought that up because we can tune into that and we can listen to that. That is a built-in mechanism for us. Our gut and our brain are so deeply connected. In fact, in utero, they were snug like this, and then they separated with their gut being down here and our brain being here, and they're connected via our vagus nerve, which I do talk about in another video. So the connection in our gut lining to faith, to each other, to the earth is what is going to cause us to thrive. Okay, but she goes on and goes even a little bit deeper. Let's check it out.
They don't care about human beings. They have only one focus. So while the world is being led away from this one thing, they are laser focused on it. And it is God. That's what they're focused on. Every single thing they do is about God. It is about inflicting pain and suffering and victory. So, you know, it's while we wander further and further and further away from our creator, whether it's believing that nature can exist, that the beauty and spirituality of life exists in nature, independent from God or any kind of creator, it doesn't matter. You can find a million examples. For them, they know it's all about God. And so all the things that you describe that separate us from our creator, all the things that make us feel lost, our children, they don't know what is a gender role. Oh no, you can't say a gender role because that's bad. Except now I've lost my identity. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in the home or in the workplace or in society. Right now you've got men. I talk to psychiatrists who've got all these men as clients. They're addicted to pornography and they're shut-ins. They don't go out, they don't socialize, they don't interact. Why? Because they're afraid. They don't know what their role is anymore. They don't know what's expected of them. That good is greater than evil. They don't know what to do anymore. So what is that doing? It's isolating us further and further and further. Those feedback loops in the information space, those social cues that now are completely, they're in disarray, and you go on and on and on. The punishment system that's been put in place, if you transgress, if maybe you say something you shouldn't, or believe something you shouldn't, or God forbid, do something you shouldn't, that they've deemed shouldn't be done. All of this is to separate us from who we are. Because when we know who we are, when we're centered in who we are and what we stand for and what we believe in, we are never closer in that moment to God. And what they want to separate you from, they want to separate you from that identity.
I am not here to tell you what to believe, whether it's a scientific quantum physics-based faith that you have, if you even use the word faith, or a spiritual or a religion. I don't want to tell you what to believe. I want to encourage you to lean in on that faith. That is going to cause you to thrive. That is going to be a light to guide you in the right direction. And when it comes to technology, don't allow that wedge of what is not from source to come in and tell you what to believe or cause separation between you and the truth of God or the truth of source or the universe. That is a type of inflammation that causes sickness and dis-ease, just like the inflammation in our gut lining does. Focus on connection. Mind the gap. Don't let that gap be there. Bring it in, and let's focus on connection to faith, to each other, to the earth within our gut lining. And this is going to cause us to heal and thrive. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. Make it a great day, you guys. Hey, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment. I want to know what you think. Let's get some dialogue going. I'm not here to tell you what to do, except I am going to tell you to make it a great day. Make it a great day. Bye.